Hey guys, sorry about the delay. I got real busy lately, but this is the Came TV Argo. So this is the new gimbal that they're coming out with, which everyone knows looks very similar to the ronin-m. As a matter of fact, most of the dimensions and size look almost exactly the same. There are some differences to the way they made it, but there's no doubt that it has a lot of the design inspiration from the ronin-m. But obviously the biggest difference is this is running SBGC or Basecam, Alex Most for those of you who are familiar with that. So it's a totally different gimbal stabilizing software than what something like the ronin-m would use. So if you guys are familiar with the Came 7800 or the Came singles or the Varavon Birdie cams, or there's tons of them, tons of these gimbals that are using Basecam electronics or SBGC in their system. So lately they've come out with support for the encoders, which I talk about a lot, and that has really changed the way Basecam gimbals operate. They are just as stable as anything else out there on the market, but you just have to be familiar with how it works and how to tune it to get the best results. Obviously balancing is a very important part of any gimbal system as well. So if you're familiar with Basecam units, then this is something that you guys are going to be pick up and work out really well, especially with the new encoder hardware that's supported. So especially those of you who are coming off of Came Minis or the Came TV 7800s, 7000, 7500s, the original Birdie cam, stuff like that. So this one is going to support a larger camera, up to I believe 6 pounds. So larger, heavier cameras than some of the smaller gimbals out there. So if you guys are interested in this type of gimbal for that size camera, this is one to look at for Basecam gimbals. So anyways, it comes with a hard case. The hard case is actually pretty nice, but the foam on the inside is not very dense and kind of floppy. So it will be fine for transporting your system, but getting the stuff in and out is, I feel like the foam is going to wear out over time. And I'll show you what I mean is this is the top frame right here. You can see just how kind of flimsy the foam is in here. Now it's good enough to protect it from scratches, but again, I think like over time this foam is not going to hold up well. But because it looks so similar to the DJI Ronin-m, I actually used a DJI Ronin-m case for this, and every piece and bit and part will fit in there. You'll have a lot of extra space, but the custom cut foam for the ronin-m works with this gimbal as well. So if you were looking to get a different case, I'll have a link below, but the DJI ronin-m hard case, the OEM one, will work with this system to get all the pieces in there. But anyways, let's take a look. This is the frame right here, just like that. And then now I took the system out previously, so if it doesn't look neat, it's because I have used it before. You'll get a bunch of like spare parts here. There's like a lens support and HDMI adapter. There's a wireless antenna because this has a wireless video transmitter. So it's an option where you can connect your HDMI into this frame and it will transmit video wirelessly. Now, I don't think this is going to be in any HD or any high quality, but it can transmit video. The other thing though about the video transmission is you still need a receiver. I don't have a receiving monitor, so I can't use that feature, but it does have a wireless video transmitter built into this gimbal. So anyways, so those are some parts over here. They come with this adapter. Now this adapter, as you can see with the handles off, we just have the gimbal frame. So this adapter is going to let you attach it to, say, underneath a jib. You would attach this base plate under a jib, and then you can dock your gimbal underneath the jib. Now it does have a wireless remote over here. I'm just charging it up via USB. But this wireless remote will let you operate the pan and tilt functions remotely. So if you do have it on a jib or some other type of car rig setup, you can control the pan and tilt from this remote wirelessly. All right, so that's what this little adapter is for. We've got our power brick or a charger for the battery. This right here is the battery. Looks very similar to the ronin-m, but it is not the same battery, so it won't work cross-compatible. Now this is a different system than what you normally saw on the other came-TV gimbals on the 7500, 7800, which used pretty much just like a 3S with a Dean's connector you find at a regular RC store. This one right here you're not going to find anywhere except for came-TV, so it is a proprietary battery for them. I'm sure you can buy extras, but this is not something you're going to find in just any retail store. The good thing is though that with the encoders, the gimbal should last a very, very, very long time. Should pretty much run you the whole day, so you may not even need to buy several batteries. These are the handles here. These are the handles that attach to the middle handle. So this middle handle attaches to the gimbal frame, and then you have handles on each end. I'll assemble for that for you in a second. But if you're familiar with the ronin-m handle setup, very similar. So instead of having one long handle like the original Ronin had, now it's broken up into small pieces, so it's a lot easier to travel with. Previously you had to walk around with this long bar. So nice that they're using this system because it just breaks down very small, throw it in a backpack, good to go. I'm not quite sure what this cable is yet. I'll have to figure that out, but there's that. And this is the, well, I'll pull this out first. There's a 15mm rod that they include. On the gimbal frame is a 15mm clamp. Now, so you put this one rod on the frame here, and then you can attach something like a wireless follow focus system on this gimbal. So they give you a little short rod here. And then this right here is the stand. Let me close this up, put this away. All right, now for the stand, you loosen these little red knobs on the side, and this is again how it folds up. You then flip the arms around. Now this is the bottom part because it doesn't have the hooks. So this is the top part. So what you do is you just tighten the knobs once you flip it around. So we'll flip this one around here. And there you go. We have the stand set up. So it's compact. It's also telescoping here in the middle, so depending on how high you need, you just loosen this. You can pull this up. So you can adjust the height here. I'm just gonna keep it like this. All right, there you go. So let's get the top handles together here. Again, everything connects to this middle part. Now this handle goes forward, so it's not in this direction. This points away from you, right? So, and then you have one handle that has this little kind of a shoe clip sort of, and that's where your joystick goes, or your wireless joystick here, wireless remote. So depending on what side you want your joystick on, I like it on the right side, so I'm going to put this handle here on the right side. And you want to make sure that that little knob is lined up in a way where you can mount your joystick. So put it right over here. And then this side over here goes over here. Now this little adapter over here is a monitor mount or accessory mount. So they include one of these, so if you're working with like a monitor, you could put that over here as well. And then we'll just put the side handles here. All right, so that's how it would look. Put that up over there. And next we will put up this frame. And there's a certain way that you have to put this because there's a little safety release over here. So make sure that's lined up properly with your system. And it just slides in. Once it slides in, you tighten up the top clamp. Now, if you have it the right way and the safety is on, even if you have this top clamp loose, it shouldn't fall off the handle. So that's what it's there for. So to get it off, you would loosen the clamp, release the safety switch, and then it would slide out. But there you go. Now the battery, let's throw the battery on. The battery just goes on the back. You want to make sure the connections line up to the tabs here, and then it just drops into the tabs. Push down and close that up. Lock that up. There you go. We've got the gimbal set up. It's on the stand. So now let's get our camera here. I already have the QR plate mounted, and then we'll just slide that in. Now, if you guys are looking, you want to make sure that this motor here is on the left side of the camera. So if you're standing behind the camera, this goes on the left side, so opposite of the hand grip. So let's put this in. This is, there you go. Now we're going to go through balancing it very quickly. What you want to do, what you want to start out with first is make sure that your camera is not too high on this here. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring the camera up and down. Now to figure out how much you need to bring that up and down, let me open my LCD here. To figure out how much you have to move this up and down, we're trying to determine if it's top heavy or if it's bottom heavy. Now, the best way to do this that I found is to lay the camera on its back. Now if we lay the camera on its back and we just leave it there, this looks like it's balanced very well. If it was top heavy, it would fall this way. If it was bottom heavy, it would fall down this way. Now the reason it's balanced is I probably balanced this earlier, but I'll show you what happens if we're not set up correctly. Now another thing that they've done differently, just to point out, is these are the locks for these rods here on the side. Now if you're familiar with the DJI Ronin, the moment you release these, this bottom plate slides up and down on these rods, so it's just a matter of you pushing and pulling. Now what they've done here is they've added these knobs underneath. That's actually fine-tuning knobs. So by turning these knobs, you're actually moving the platform up and down millimeters at a time, so you can really fine-tune this gimbal. Matter of fact, I can balance this gimbal better than I can balance a ronin-m. So let me get this just kind of exaggerated for you here, what would happen. Alright, so I turn these knobs so my plate is not balanced. Now if I lay the camera on its back, and I'm also holding this roll bar from the left-right movement, and so if I was to hold it on its back, you notice that it falls over on the top. So I'm not steady on when it's on its back. So that means I have too much weight on this side, so I need to move the camera down this way, right? So that's where we would dial these knobs until we can get it so that the camera doesn't fall over. Now here you notice that I've moved it too far down, that now it's falling in this direction. Okay, so we're just going to move this back until I can get this perfect and it can stay on its back. There you go. You notice I just moved it a little bit and it's staying on its back. Now that we have that, we just lock these clamps here on the side to keep it from adjusting. So we have that perfectly balanced on its back. Now what we want to do is work on this tilt, right? So you see it's falling on its face. That means I have too much weight on this side and I need to move it back. All right, so to do that, we're just going to loosen the clamp here and slide it on the QR plate. So we'll slide that on the QR. And there you go. It's not falling on its face. And as you notice, I'm still holding this roll bar because this roll bar controls the left and right. So as you can see, the camera wants to fall on its right side, which means I need to move it to the left. So we loosen up the clamps here in the back. And I'm going to slide it on this rail until we can get it to stay put. There you go. And I'm going to tighten this up. And so we have our camera balanced now. As you can see, it's not falling forward or backwards. And if I was to rotate this roll bar, it'll actually hold its position at an angle, which is very difficult to do for the ronin-m. And even if I was to tilt it upwards, my camera will stay this way. So again, I can get this thing way better balanced than I can the ronin-m. I always seem to kind of have this point where it just dips one way or the other. Still with the ronin-m, it's strong enough where you know, you don't have to be perfectly balanced, but even with this, you don't have to be perfectly balanced, but I seem to get it perfectly balanced better than the ronin-m. Anyways, the next thing you want to do is always check your yaw, and what we do with that is we're just going to tilt the handles over, and you notice that the camera wants to swing towards the front end direction here. So what we're doing is we're lifting this up on its side, and it should stay, but you notice it's not staying. This side is dropping towards the bottom. Okay, so I don't know if you could see that, but what we want to do is we want to loosen this clamp here at the top, and then we're going to adjust it on the back. Again, one of those fine-tuning knobs. So we're just going to adjust this so that we move this camera backwards because it's falling on the front, so we want to move the weight backwards. So we're going to pull it backwards. Now I can do this as I'm holding it sideways as well. And you notice it just takes a few turns to get it so that it's not falling. So it's actually holding up really, really well. Just for kicks, I'm going to exaggerate this. I'm going to just turn this a lot and show you again what happens when we tilt these handles. Okay, so we're going to tilt this. See how the camera just drops? So I'm going to turn it back the way I had it before. I can even hold this up, dial it until I can get it to stop dropping. That's pretty good. So now if I go sideways, you notice the camera's not swinging around. All right, lock this down up in the back here, this clamp. We're good to go. We have our came-argo balanced, camera mounted, everything's all hooked up. So what I'm going to do is turn this guy on. So once again, your handle is pointing forward. So the way the battery works is very similar to DJI. You press the button once, it's a battery meter, so it'll show you how much power you have in your battery. So to turn it on, you press it once and then press it again very quickly afterwards. Hold it down for a few seconds and then it will power up. There you go. Our gimbal is live. So I'm not quite sure what mode I'm in right now, but if I pick it up off the stand, we have follow on our pan. We have no follow on our tilt right now, so that means I'm in profile 2. So they use the same profiles as their other configurations. Profile 1 will follow the pan and the tilt. Profile 2 will follow the pan, not the tilt. Profile 3 will follow nothing. It's no pan, no tilt. It's just locked in mode. So to change modes, we're going to boot up our remote or our wireless joystick here. So let me turn this on. We should already be connected. So at this point, this wireless remote here, I can actually control all the features of this gimbal as far as pan and tilt goes. So it automatically syncs up. Again, it just hooks up to the side here. Just like that. And at this, if we wanted to change modes, there's a little button on the side here. Go ahead and press it once, and you hear that beep and confirmation. For those of you who don't like the confirmation, you could turn that off in the software, but I like it because it's audible. It tells me what mode I'm in. So anyways, so we are in profile 1. I'm going to pick this up. Profile 1 again, pan follows the tilt. Notice that? So I have not touched the software. I'm booting this up here and just showing you. I haven't configured anything. This is how it comes. Very smooth, stable system because of the encoders. Let's go to profile 2. Okay, once again, profile 2, it's following on the pan, but it is not following on the tilt. And this system is very stable. And then profile 3. Now profile 3 is not following any of the pan. Notice that? So let me just actually pan this over. So if I was to move the handles, it does not follow on my pan and it does not follow on my tilt. This is great when you have to do briefcase modes where you're holding the gimbal from the top handle or you're tracking a subject where you don't want the camera to sway in any direction. So let me go back to profile 1. Now, this gimbal here does work in inverted mode, but from what I understand right now, there might be some changes later on down the line, or there may not be some changes. But when you go into inverted mode in this gimbal, the camera will remain upside down. Again, that may change. That may change to where you flip it over and the camera is not upside down. But there are some hard limits in this roll bar. So you notice there's an exposed wire here. You don't have to worry too much because there's a hard limit built in here where you cannot physically rotate this roll bar. So you cannot rotate it far enough to pull this cable. So you don't have to worry about this cable being yanked out. I mean, it is exposed, so you don't want to snag it, but as far as rotating this, you cannot physically do that. There's a hard lock. So to get this into inverted mode, I'm in profile 1 right now, and then I will just invert it like this. Now, you don't flip the handles over on its side. What you're doing is you're bringing the camera over the top handle. So we will flip it over just like this. Okay? So now we are in inverted mode. As you can see, the system still stays very stable. In profile 1, once again, we still have our follow mode. So if I was to tilt, it would follow my tilt. And then if I was to pan, I'd follow my pan. Now, this mode is great because I can actually see the LCD screen. Here, eye level, the camera's a little bit higher, so I don't have to bring my arms up as high. So if I'm following somebody, I can carry it like this very comfortably for a long period of time. Obviously, the video will be upside down, so you have to flip it in post, but very used to that, not a big deal. And for those of you using the Ronins, works exactly the same. So to bring it back, again, handle goes over, and we are back in normal mode. So anyways, I could go out and show you some samples. I'm going to do that at another video, but I guarantee it's going to be exactly the same. I've been shooting with this. All of the SBGC base cam gimbals with encoders work extremely well. Very smooth stuff. So it's going to look exactly the same as any other gimbal I would shoot. But still, I'll do that for you guys later. Right now, I'm going to just close up this video. If you have any questions about the came-TV ARGO, let me know. Leave some comments below this video. I'll also have more information on the blog at cheesycam.com.